FEC takes key decisions on government policies. Federal government reports 15.8 trillion naira subsidy savings from economic reforms. INEC opens 2027 campaign window. NDA charges Army cadets to put national interest first. Senate questions state of Nigerian football. Good morning and welcome to a live news update. I am Salome Oladipo and here are the major stories making headlines. The Federal Executive Council (FEC) has taken key decisions on government policies and programs at its meeting chaired by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. The meeting, which is the Council's first since June 29, considered several memoranda covering major areas of government business. President Tinubu presided over the session, which began with the national anthem shortly after his arrival at about 2:30 in the afternoon. Among those at the meeting were Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, Head of the Civil Service, Didi Wilson Jack, National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, alongside ministers and presidential aides. The decisions are expected to support the administration's ongoing policies and programs. The federal government says its economic reforms generated an estimated 15.8 trillion naira in subsidy savings between June 2023 and December 2025, while acknowledging continued pressure on household costs. The Federal Ministry of Finance says the reforms also generated 20.4 trillion naira in additional federal resources through subsidy savings, increased revenue and borrowing. Government says its share of the subsidy savings was 3.12 trillion naira, while additional revenue reached 11.85 trillion naira. However, the reforms also created 30.6 trillion naira in additional expenditure pressures, including wages, debt servicing, infrastructure, and social programs. The figures were presented at a conference on Nigeria's reform scorecard as the government says it will consolidate the gains while addressing the cost of living pressures facing Nigerians. INEC has officially opened the window for campaigns ahead of the 2027 presidential and National Assembly elections. Across the country, political parties are stepping up preparations as the election season gets underway. But in Lagos, the question is, are Nigerians ready for another election season? Ifetobore or Fotokun filed in this report.
Today, August 19, marks the beginning of the official campaign for the general elections for 2027. Now, for the political parties and their candidates, this is the beginning of their race to convince Nigerians whether they deserve their votes. But beyond the rallies, beyond the posters and political parties, what are Nigerians' idea about the promises? Took the questions to the streets.
If you can see from one place to another, there is peaceful rally and there is peaceful in everywhere, no fight. So and even our leader, our state chairman, he don't tolerate fight. If you see that they are fighting in one place, he will call attention to that place and settle it amicably.
Opening of student loans, we saw so many empowerment programs, we even saw the peaceful and fair election that went on in Osun State last Saturday. So yeah, if you can see more of that consistency, I feel that's what Nigeria needs.
Actually, the campaign for 2027 election that is ongoing presently, they usually come up with different promises like we'll do this, we'll do that. It's not all about the promises this time around. It's actually them to do something that they said they were going to do. Because we have a lot of promises that they actually don't fulfill. So I don't really stay in line with their politics and games anymore. It's subsidizing the economy for it to be easy for us to flow with buying things, purchasing. Everything is just so expensive for us to live now. standard of living is even killing the living these days.
In Nigeria, where political conversations often generate strong opinions, residents have different expectations from the coming campaign season. While some say they are interested in policies that could improve their livelihoods, others say politicians must be prepared to demonstrate how their promises can become a reality. With the campaigns now underway, voters will have several months to listen, compare candidates, and decide what matters most to them. As political parties take their campaigns to the streets, communities, and social media, the big question may not simply be who can make the biggest promises, but who can convince voters that these promises can actually be delivered. From high hopes to high expectations, Nigerians say that the countdown for the 2027 elections have begun. Whether these politicians will match their promises with actions remains the key question. Reporting from the streets of Nigeria is Efetobari of Photokun from Alive News Network.
The Nigerian Defense Academy has charged Army cadets to put national interest above personal gain as they prepare to take up junior leadership roles in the armed forces. The charge was given during a social night launching for cadets of the 73 regular corps and short service corps 49 following their final outdoor military training exercise Camp Highland. The cadets underwent practical exercises including navigation, abseiling, rappelling, and watermanship designed to test their leadership endurance, teamwork, and tactical skills. Let's take a look at the first reaction.
The prevailing security situation in the country demands that you place national interests above personal interests whenever duty calls to defend the country against any threat to national security and development. You must also strive to lead your soldiers by example. Even in the field, we are witnessing the benefits of Review Cadets training curriculum, which has now imbibed rigorous round-robin training in weapon handling, as well as combat shooting, watermanship training, and other aspects of swimming. To the passing out cadets, I urge you to maintain the high standard of discipline that the Academy is known for, while remaining focused and dedicated to successful completion of the course and subsequent commissioning as officers into the armed forces of Nigeria and allied nations, as the case may be. Please note that the road to your commissioning is still littered with obstacles. You should always be guided by your loyalty to the Constitution of the country and subordination to civil authority while performing your military duties and civic responsibilities.
General
Discipline that the Academy is known for, while remaining focused and dedicated to successful completion of the course and subsequent commissioning as officers into the armed forces of Nigeria and allied nations, as the case may be. Please note that the road to your commissioning is still littered with obstacles. You should always be guided by your loyalty to the Constitution of the country and subordination to civil authority while performing your military duties and civic.
Major Godwin said the exercise prepared the cadets to respond effectively to Nigeria's evolving security challenges, as he urges them to maintain physical fitness, mental alertness, discipline, and professionalism, noting that some may be deployed to operations within and outside Nigeria. Let's take a look.
To the passing out cadets, I urge you to maintain the high standard of discipline that the Academy is known for, while remaining focused and dedicated to successful completion of the course and subsequent commissioning as officers into the armed forces of Nigeria and allied nations, as the case may be. Please note that the road to your commissioning is still littered with obstacles. You should always be guided by your loyalty to the Constitution of the country and subordination to civil authority while performing your military duties and civic responsibility.
Exercise Camp Highland is designed to consolidate the cadets' military training, character development, and academic preparation ahead of their transition into junior leadership roles. The Senate is questioning the state of Nigeria's football after the Super Falcons' disappointing AFCON campaign and the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Sport, Senator Abdul Ningi, raised the concerns after a closed-door meeting with sports authorities and Nigerian Football Federation officials. Ningi said the Falcons' performance in Morocco was disappointing despite government support and motivation ahead of the tournament. The meeting also examined football development, funding, and the management of the country's sports sector. The Senate is seeking answers on Nigeria's football development and how funds received from FIFA and CAF are being used. And that's the latest from a Live News Network. I am Salome Oladipo. Do stay with us for more updates.